Hey, this is Steven from the Green Engineers, and welcome to my update video. Today is Saturday, the 22nd, 2018, December 22nd, 2018. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on this winter break and what the schedule is. So, I had an overhanging senior project that I had to complete, which the professor made so long that he had to push it back a month, even past our finals. So that was turned in yesterday on Friday, and also at where I'm currently working, we have a shutdown from the 22nd, 21st, which was yesterday, to the 7th of January, so 1/7/2018. So from now till then, I will not be working on school or work projects. I will be going full time on the Green Engineers stuff. So I want to talk about a little bit of what's on the schedule and how that is going to be proceeding from now until the 22nd and onwards. So also besides that, after the 22nd, towards the 7th, I go back to school at that point, and then I go back to school, and I will look that up right now. January 22nd, I go back to school. So that's 1 month from now. Today is 12/22nd, 2018. So the 22nd of January, I go back to school. So from now, the 22nd till the 7th, I'm going to be not working. And then actually on the 7th, I go on vacation to Bahamas until the 14th. And then from the 14th till the 22nd, will be work, the Green Engineers, and a little and senior project, which I'll get into. And then after the January 22nd, I'll be working again. So now we have a month of most free time to work on the Green Engineers project. So what are we going to be working on? We have the three main projects and a side project. Side project will probably be pushed back. So the number one priority project is going to be the project that is involved with the senior project, which I guess you could say is we still have plenty of time on that one, so that one also might be not as that big of a primary project. That one I'll be doing about maybe 2 hours a day of development, and maybe another 2 hours on the weekend or something of manufacturing. So that is the Factory, which is the version 2 of my multi-extruder. So I guess that would even that one would be a side project, because we get another month to develop it for school for senior project before we start to lose any sort of grade points for it not being completed or slow development, etc. So if that's the case, the number one project is still the multi-extruder. As you see, we have the version 1, the multi-extruder spooler and winder assembly module have been completed. Their basic code has been written, and now the basic code needs to be integrated into the rest of the firmware. And then the firmware, once that is stable, will be released, and then I will start to ship these out to finish the Kickstarter that I started a long time ago. So once that gets shipped out, that project will be completed. I will probably just be supporting that project as far as turning it into the open source like I promised. So doing another revision using aluminum extrusion, and release that, and also maybe do some firmware updates for people that currently own them so that they work correctly. Or I might just have an option where I will give somebody a finished Factory for the same price. So for basically, instead of sending them the multi-extruder, I'll send them the Factory. But I do have some people that pre-ordered the module, so I'll probably just for their own ones that they bought on the Kickstarter. So I'll probably just finish the module, which it already is finished. I just need to integrate it with everything else. And also I have to integrate it with the dimensional control module, which I have sitting here on the desk. It seems to be running pretty good, but I need to make some changes with that, and that's also going to be shared with the fill factory. There should have the same modules, except for mounting solution on multi-shooter is going to be different than on the fill factory. So that will probably be my main focus during the break for the fill factory, is to get the module for the multi-shooter and the fill factory to work correctly, because they're going to be using the same sensor. So those are the shared projects, so they're shared between the two projects, so that should be a benefit for both. Okay, something else. Number 2 is going to be the shredder prototype. So I already have the shredder prototype. It's right here. So now what I need to do is I need to find a way to manufacture it continually for a decent price. So in San Francisco, we do have a water jet for the shop.build, which is generally where I build all my stuff. So I might have to check into that to see if I could get the price down. But what I would like to get the price down to is about $70 to $80 per shredder for me to make it. Not the selling price, but maybe $80 to $100 for me to make it. And it's designed to be manufactured all out of one single sheet of 1/4 inch 1055 steel and hardenable steel, and also 3/4 by 3/4 1045 steel shaft, steel square bar for the shafts. So it should be very easy to make. It's just I need to find a way to make it economical without having to order 40 or 50 of these things at a time. Because 40 or 50 of these things at a time would be about, or maybe even 10 of these things at a time is probably $2,000, $3,000 to make it. Because to make even 10 at a time would probably be $200 each. Even then, if it was $200 each, it still might be worth it, but I wanted it to be like no more than $250 sale price, and if I could drop it down to $150, $160 something. That's where I would like it to be. I wouldn't like it to go over $200 because of the size. The size isn't really that big, so obviously it's not going to be really used in a production environment. So you shouldn't be paying production numbers for it, for something that wouldn't be used in a production environment. So one of the options I have for it is that I cut a whole bunch of these things on a plasma in Redwood City, and the plasma had massive amounts of kerf. Kerf is where, or taper, I guess you could say. So basically what would happen is that it's kind of angled inwards like this. So if I go here to paint, and I drag paint. So basically what it looks like is that here's your steel top and here's your steel bottom, right? And then there's a hole in it. And what you'll see is that the hole is actually like this. So it's wide here at the top and then it's narrow here at the bottom. But obviously, if the steel bar was the same size as the bottom, let's say, there's only a small area where it's contacting the steel bar right here, and all of this is not touching. So there's going to be a lot of stress at this corner, and the chances of you just rounding that square into a circle and then not being able to shred with that dial or all the dials anymore is highly likely. So one of the ideas that I have that I'm going to try, this is going to be the last kind of trial I've been trying to reclaim these for a while, because I've cut like eight shredders of them, and right now I have like maybe 5 or 6 pre-orders. I'll have to look on the website, but I have about 5 or 6 pre-orders, and there's plenty enough there to do the pre-orders. So I just need to figure out how to square these up. So the last idea I have to square these up is to build my own square-to-square broach. So a broach is basically a tool steel shaft with teeth on it. So it looks like this. If you look, so this is like you're looking down the side. So it basically has teeth like this, and they get bigger and bigger as you go down. And so basically it's kind of like a saw blade, but it's for precision reaming almost. It's like reaming a square hole instead of a circular hole. So you're pushing this thing, and it doesn't spin. You're pushing it through. You push it through with a press, with either an arbor press with a really long bar or a hydraulic press. And so basically, as you push this through, it opens this hole up. But in this case, I'm going to press it through here, and it's going to basically turn this. It's going to eat this piece off, so that now it's actually square hole. So now, in this case, in actuality, this is not how it is. Sorry. Let me show you in actuality what it looks like. I made a mistake here. So in actuality, looks like this. So there's the shaft. The shaft's actually the size of the top. So obviously it's not going to fit through. It has to be like that. Right? So it won't even fit inside here. So the idea is that I'm going to fit this in here, and then this is kind of like tapered outwards, the brooch. So it's like this and like tapered outwards. So as you push this through, it's just going to chop this off, and then now you have a nice square hole. Like this, that shaft will fit in really, really nicely. So that is the plan, the final plan to try to reclaim those. That's about a $250 sheet of steel that I used to make those 8 that aren't going to function correctly unless I unless I do this. I can reclaim some of the parts because some of the parts are not actually driven, and I could just drill some holes into those parts, and I'll be able to use them on future machines. So I can reclaim some of the parts by just drilling it. Others of those, the driven, the cutter blades, I can't because they obviously have to have a square in order for it to drive the shredder. So that I need to fix. So that is one of the plans. Another plan is somehow be able to get it inside of a mill, and then being able to index it correctly where it sits right on the right spot, and then be able to just cut the holes into it, cut the square holes, so that they are the right size. That's another option. So I just do one at a time or do multiple at a time in order to basically get these machines to be able to function again. But I do need to sort through those, so I need to sort through and see which ones are worth saving, which ones have an actual hole, or which ones were failed, and just either keep those for a heat treating test, because another thing I need to do to it is I need to do heat treating of the steel, so that some people wanted that option of heat treatable so that they could cut a lot harder stuff. So that is the newest thing that's project number 2. And the other option, as you saw way long ago here, 2 months ago, is the stuff for my water jet, my CNC water jet. So that's another thing that I need to work on. So that's for past these 8 that were not that great, but I'm going to clean them all up so they look really, really nice. After that, that's kind of the way that I'm going to be producing these, is to have this water jet, build this CNC water jet. So I bought this $1,000 30,000 psi pump. I have the cutter head for it. I have the orifice. I have the mixing tube. I have the water orifice. So all I need to do is I need to get a CNC water table, something to move it, and I need to get tubing to run that high pressure water up from the pump to the cutting head. And then I need some sort of hopper for the garnet. So that is also something that I am going to be working on. So hopefully within the next week, I'm going to be ordering the tool steel and finding a way to get it heat treated. I'm going to be trying to salvage these discs, which if you want to know more about the discs, you could see it here on the 11.8 update. So that if that doesn't work, then I'm going to forget about salvaging those and just leave those for another time when I don't have any people waiting for pre-order, and then try to revive those. And then I'll go straight to working on this. or calling or going to San Francisco and see if I could just cut it out on that water jet somehow, or if they'll give me a mass discount for using it for an extended period of time or something like that, or maybe have one of the workers be able to cut it for me or with their discount or something. And then I'll buy another sheet, a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of steel that weighs 300 something pounds. Anyways, so that is project number 2, which is the reclaimer, which is my 6x6 by 3.5 inch shredder. And then the extra project, which is also now combined, I guess you could say, with Fill Factory, which is just a few hours a day. But this extra project is just shelved, but it might be something I get to. Chances, 95% chance I won't. But the reclaimer, the EcoBase 3D printer. So that's my 3D printer design made entirely out of bamboo. I did some work on that about a year ago before Maker Faire. And that guy I would like to progress on a little bit. So I want to get all these done from prototype. So we have it ready for production. So over here on my wall, I have the tool chain. The tool chain is the multi-shooter / the fill factory. So a filament maker, a shredder, and a printer. So the first year at Maker Faire, it was a concept. Second year was kind of I guess you could say, the prototypes of it. Obviously at the time I didn't have the printer. The printer was still just a concept at that time. But the next year, which is my 4th year of being there. My first year I was showing off the multi-shooter. The 4th year that I want to go, I want to have it announced for production, and the Kickstarter is going for it. But I would like to have everything else done, my previous Kickstarter arrangements completed, with everybody being satisfied. I want to have the shredder have a way of manufacturing the shredder, and also having the way of manufacturing the EcoBase 3D printer, as well as having a prototype there to show. But I'm not too worried about having a prototype a way to manufacture the Fill Factory, because I do have a way of manufacturing Fill Factory at the shop.build. It's designed to be manufactured on a laser. We have some beautiful lasers there now that are some of the best I've ever seen used. They're really, really good and well optimized, and all their settings are perfect for doing the best cuts possible. So those are the 2 main projects. Are some of the stuff that's shared between the Fill Factory and the multi-shooter, and also to get the code for the winder into the multi-shooter, so that I could get those 7 out mainly to the Kickstarter backers, and then get the rest of the pre-ordered modules out to who needs them, and the code out to where it needs to go. If I could, I would have rather just had where they get the Fill Factory, because I believe that the Fill Factory will be quite a bit better machine, but I'll have to get in contact with them to figure that out. Also, a little bit here and there, I'll be working on my car, and also I need to get a new car because my old car, we lemon lawed it, and we have to sell. We're selling it back to Ford. So there's a few different things that have to happen here in the winter. And again, next semester is my last semester in university. After that, I'll be working on the Green Engineer project full time. So probably working part time, and then on the Green Engineers project full time. So that basically closes out what I wanted to talk about here in this 20-minute update video. So mainly, I think I'll spend maybe actually a few minutes showing what I have for Fill Factory currently. So from this first semester of working on it periodically, about once a week. So here's kind of the design of the Fill Factory, and this is all in Fusion here. So here we have the extruder barrel orientated sideways inside this box. This box is designed to ship in a flat rate box, so 12 inches by 12 inches by 5.5 inches. So that's the size of this container that basically this whole machine sits in. Here's the extrusion barrel. Here's the extrusion nozzle. Here's the motor, which is actually orientated behind the actual the extrusion barrel. And then here's the spool, and these blocks right here represent the different modules which have not been designed yet. So here's the fan, here's the dimensional control module, and here is the winder. So as the filament comes out, this pulley is actually more towards in this corner. It goes around the pulley, goes through the fan, through the dimensional control, through the winder, probably through this, and then up over here, probably the winder somewhere over there. Electronics are over here, and this hopper, I'll show you right now, this hopper goes up there in that, goes up here in this top corner to about here. The hopper goes like that. And then over here are the rest of the electronics, and over here is probably the motor for this guy. The motor's not going to be on the bottom, the motor's going to be over here, and then pulley driven. This is also going to be pulley driven, if you saw there on the right here. So this pulley is going through to the auger screw. So some of the things that we need to do here is we need to finish the design of basically implementing a lot of the winder, the dimensional control from the multi-shooter, and also the fan kind of from the design of the multi-shooter into this system, and then figure out the electronics, print the hopper, buy some parts, figure this out with the drive for the motor over to this guy. Yeah, so a few things that we have left with this guy. Probably most of it's going to be done during next semester, so I can get some of this other stuff done with the winder and the dimensional control module. Get that done with because once I get that done for the multi-shooter, it's going to be so much easier when I integrate it to the fill factory as well, and then get those to the people that need them. All right, so that's the current progress on the fill factory. So we've gone through a whole bunch of different shapes and designs for what's going to be the housing for it, but this is kind of what we settled on. So we're full speed ahead on this guy, but most likely it'll be during the semester, trying to. I will be working a few hours a day on it, most likely, but most of the time it's going to be on the fill on where they're both shared. So, for example, the sensor module, as well as the spooler module and the winder module. I'll be focusing on that mainly because that's basically the main heart of the machine. Extruding is really easy. The hard thing is measuring the diameter, pulling it to size, and then winding it on the roll. Those are the most expensive. Not expensive. Those are the most critical components on the multi-shooter and the fill factory. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. All right, that is pretty much it. So this has been Steven from the Green Engineers, and I would like to thank you guys for watching. And hopefully my next video that I'll be uploading is going to be a shop tour of the shop.build in San Jose. So that's where I'll be making most of the stuff that you see here. So hopefully the next video for that will be coming out shortly. The only time that I'll be able to generally record that guy is either early in the morning when they open at 10 or late at night when they close at 10. Probably Monday I'll do something like that where I'll work there till 10 and then get a recording of the shop as they're closing up, and all the DCs, I guess you'd call them, the Dream Consultants, as they used to be called at the old tech shop. I don't know what they're called now. I guess they're just staff. So as all the staff's in the front and nobody's in the back, we'll go around and show you guys all the machines and all the things that is opening up for the Green Engineers to be manufacturing stuff there. Alright, so this has been Steven from the Green Engineers. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for that next video, and hopefully you guys could see a whole bunch more updates on what's going on the Green Engineer stuff by the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Take it easy. Peace.